What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another Dragonflight video. How is everybody doing? Hope you're doing well. I'm snacking on some fish right here. Want to talk a little bit more about Dragonflight Evoker. I've been looking through a lot of people's comments on different videos and what people are kind of searching for right now, and I think Dragonflight Evoker is certainly one of the big ones. People wondering if they want to main it for Dragonflight. So I have done a video that talks more about the AoE rotation and Mythic Plus for Dragonflight Evoker. Today I want to talk specifically about like single target damage, how you're going to do damage to bosses in Mythic Plus, in particular on Tyrannical weeks when it's really important. So we're looking at like single target rotations and, you know, raid rotations as well. The thing about the Dragonflight Evoker talent tree is it doesn't actually change a whole lot. We'll get into that in a second. Let me just get my coffee going. Let me get my, oh my god, I almost spilled it. Let me get my notes up. And yeah, let's just jump right into it. So, Dragonflight Evoker has a very interesting talent tree. It doesn't really have like a single target line and like an AoE line. It has blue and red, but they both do AoE. And blue is the only one that does, actually they both do single target as well. Like, they literally split it 50-50. There's like abilities that do single target and there's abilities that do AoE. It's very simple for Evoker. So if you want to do an AoE rotation, you're basically spamming Azure Strike into Pyre, and you're never ever going to use Disintegrate for the most part. If you're doing a single target rotation, you want to be spamming Living Flame into Disintegrate. Like, they just kind of split it and said, here's what you do here, here's what you do here. It's very simple that way. So when it comes to Mythic Plus, it's very simple what you ought to be doing, right? It's very kind of obvious there. You're going to, you know, throw your big Pyre, it's going to do big AoE damage. Then you're going to fill with Azure Strike, because Azure Strike will cleave multiple enemies. So when you're in Mythic Plus, this is a build that I think you might want to run. And I am going to save it here. Let's go new loadout. Evoker. Wait, we already are an Evoker. How about we go Mythic Plus, build, and single target. Okay. So why does this build work good for both? Because there aren't talents that are like, oh my god, I have to go pick this up. Like with Shadow Priest, for example, it's like you have to pick up Mind Seer. If you don't pick up Mind Seer, you know, you're not doing AoE damage, period. You're basically basically not doing it. So, with Evoker, they just get a lot of those abilities. Obviously, you have to pick and choose stuff like Eternity Surge, of course, and your major cooldown Dragonrage. But generally speaking, your abilities are very straightforward, and they're all kind of provided for you. So let me talk specifically about the single target rotation that you're going to want to run. This is a build that you can run in Mythic Plus. This is fine. This is going to do damage for you on AoE. Let me show you that really quickly. So if you're running in Mythic Plus, I've shown this before, but I'm going to show it quickly again. You really want to try and maximize your uptime on Dragonrage. This is really important. You have a talent here called Animosity. Casting empowered spells extends Dragonrage. Okay? What are your empowered spells? You got two of them, Fire Breath and Eternity Surge, okay? As I've shown before in the other video, Tip the Scales makes your next empowered ability instant cast. So what I messed up actually in the first time that I did this my Evoker coverage was I kind of was spending my two empowered spells before I pressed Dragonrage because it seemed more efficient to me in my brain. And it is more efficient, except that with Animosity, you must spend your empowered spells after you press Dragonrage, or else you're wasting 12 seconds of increased uptime on Dragonrage, okay? So the idea with basically every build for Evoker, Devastation Evoker, is to pop Dragonrage and then keep extending Dragonrage as long as you can. The reason that you're doing that is because of this passive right here. Essence Burst. So your Living Flame has a 20% chance, and your Azure Strike has a 15% chance to make your next spender free. Your spenders are, again, Pyre for AoE damage, Disintegrate for single target damage. So you want to be proccing that free use of your spenders. Why? Because that'll just allow you to continuously deal damage over and over and over again. So again, in AoE, we basically pop Dragonrage, then we press Azure Strike to get our free procs on Pyre, and then we just launch Pyre after Pyre after Pyre. Pyre is going to do lots of extra damage because of volatility. We only have 1 point in volatility, eh? I think we just go like this. Let's just do that instead. Whatever. I'm just going to leave it. Doesn't matter. Pyre does extra damage. That's the point. It has an extra chance to explode on the target. I'm going to keep this Disintegrate thing for single target damage. But here's what the rotation is going to look like. Again, pop Dragon Rage and extend Dragon Rage. And it should look something like this. Okay, so we're going to go... I'm not even going to cast Deep Breath. Don't worry about the numbers. We're just talking about rotations, okay? So, Dragon Rage. Then we're going to go like this. Fire Breath. Pop it. And then we're going to go Instant Eternity Surge. There we go. There we go. Now we're going to use Pyre. Azure Strike. Pyre. Azure Strike gives us the free proc. Essence Burst, Azure Strike, Pyre. You're just doing this rotation back and forth because it gives you the free one. Maybe we're going to spend we got a couple free ones in a row. That's unfortunate. Okay, there we go. Now, Dragon Rage is almost over, but I've got my empowered abilities back, and I'm going to extend it again. So I just extended it back up to 10 seconds. So it was almost done. It was almost about to expire, but I extended it again because that's how this build works. Now, Dragon Rage is going to end right now, and you can see now we're not going to have any guaranteed procs on our Pyre anymore. So that's okay. We're going to get these going again. But that's how it works, guys. You want to extend Dragon Rage over and over and over again. And, of course, we can do our Big Dragon's Breath to look really cool. That's just an AoE rotation there. So, important to remember, Dragon Rage was up for 37 seconds. That's because we cast Dragon Rage on pull. We immediately extended it by 12 seconds because of our 2 empowered abilities that we used. Then we reduced the cooldown of our empowered abilities over and over and over again, and then we got to cast them again right at the very end and extend our Dragon Rage by another 12 seconds. So we got an extra 24 seconds out of our Dragon Rage because we played that sort of correctly. That's how it works, okay? So that's most of what you're trying to do on Dragonflight Evoker. Like, that's what it is. You're trying to pop Dragon Rage, and then you're trying to extend Dragon Rage for a long, long time because you have this Essence Burst here. Also, when you're in Dragon Rage, you are doing maximum damage on your Mastery, which is Giant Killer. So you do more damage if the targets have higher health, okay? But when you pop Dragon Rage, it doesn't matter what health percentage they have. You're always doing maximum damage. So really, really important there. You want to maximize your uptime on Dragon Rage. What does that look like in single target? This is what we're talking about today. If you're running through the dungeon, you just killed a bunch of packs. It's Tyrannical week, so the bosses have 30, 35% more health. I should probably look that up. I forget what it is. It's like 30% more health. Now you get to the boss, and you're like, holy shit, I know what to do in my AoE rotation. My AoE rotation is just Azure Strike into Pyre, and then I'm kind of managing my empowered abilities to keep Dragon Rage rolling. How does that look on a single target fight? Well, let's look at it right here. We're gonna get some extra cleave damage over here because I can't separate where these dummies are, so just don't worry about the damage. We're worried about the rotations today. We're looking at rotations. Okay? Again, we're going to pop Dragon Rage right off the cuff. Okay? And then we're going to get both of our empowered abilities out right away. Okay? I'm going to do an instant cast Eternity Surge. I'm going to do a fully empowered Tip the Scales Fire Breath. On single target, don't ever super empower Eternity Surge because all it gains is more. It hits more targets. That's all it does. So just only if you're going to empower something, empower Fire Breath. But basically, once you get rolling with this rotation, you only want to press your empowered abilities once. Get the empower level 1. Just shoot them off as quickly as you can because, again, you're trying to extend Dragon Rage. Okay? Watch this. Here we go. We're going to go Dragon Rage into Eternity Surge, and then we're going to empower our Fire Breath. Okay? Dragon Rage. Eternity Surge. Boom. There's our empower. Okay, now we're using Disintegrate. Sorry. Disintegrate. Here we go. I'm going to use Azure Strike, even though it's not optimal. We're going to use Living Flame because it's free. We're pressing Disintegrate to cool down our abilities because we're trying to get our Dragon Rage extension. Okay? So our abilities are almost back. Here we go. Dragon Rage is falling off in a second. Okay, we're going to use Azure Strike. There we go. We extended Dragon Rage right in the nick of time. There we go. We got 10 more seconds on Dragon Rage. See that? It was about to fall off, and we extended it because we're amazing. And then we're going to keep filling with Azure Strike. Now, once we're outside the Dragon Rage window, we're not going to fill with Azure Strike anymore. We're going to fill with Living Flame. The reason we were filling with Azure Strike before is because it's quicker than casting Living Flame. Okay? It's much quicker. Living Flame has a cast time. Azure Strike is instant. So you can get those procs. You're fishing for procs. Remember, you're always fishing for those procs to get a free Disintegrate cast. So it doesn't cost any essence. That's what you're trying to do. But once you're outside the Dragon Rage window, you're going to do a lot more damage with Living Flame. So make sure you cast that instead. Now, occasionally we're getting free casts of Living Flame. Okay, which is nice. That's coming from our Burnout talent, which is really, really good. And then all of our damage is kind of buffing our Pyre. So our next Pyre will have a chance to do additional damage. Sorry, all my abilities are blocked out here. There's a UI bug. There we go. I got him back. Again, I'm only empowering my abilities to level 1. Don't empower them any more than level 1 because it takes too long, right? Eternity Surge doesn't get any benefit from being empowered at level 1 or further than level 1 in a single target situation. And then Fire Breath just does more dot damage. Instead of it doing high burst damage, it does high dot damage, okay? So now, Dragonrage is coming back. We have both of our empowered abilities ready to go. I'm going to wait on them for Dragonrage because we want to make sure we get this right. Okay, so now we're going to go Dragonrage into Azure Strike, into Tip the Scales, Fire Breath. Okay, now we're in our window. We're in our Dragonrage window. We want to use Azure Strike into Disintegrate. Into Azure Strike, into Disintegrate. We could actually just use Pyre probably as well. That will be a lot quicker. Let's use Pyre a couple times just to get the cooldown back. Here we go. Okay, it's almost done. Here, we're going to get our Eternity Surge to extend. And then our Fire Breath to extend. There we go. We got 10 more seconds on our Dragonrage. And I'm kind of messing it up because it's weird to press these abilities sometimes. But you see what I'm doing there, okay? If you have more haste, this would be much, much easier. We're going to fill with Azure Strike. Okay, now we're outside the Dragonrage window. So we're just doing our regular Living Flame into Disintegrate, into Living Flame. Our empowered abilities are back. Let's just cast them really quickly. Just level 1 for both of them. Okay, you guys get it. That's how the rotation works. Now, the couple of extra things that I was talking about, our Pyre is constantly getting buffed by Charge Blast. So your blue damage increases the damage of your next Pyre, which is really nice. This is like a single target buff because you don't want to be pressing Pyre in single target. You want to be pressing Disintegrate. So what you can do is you press Disintegrate a bunch of times over and over and over again, and it will work up this big buff, and then you can fire off a really, really big Pyre every like 10 seconds or so, which is really cool. The other ability I took is called Shattering Star. This essentially gives you a damage amp on the enemy for 4 seconds. So you want to try and cast Shattering Star before you cast your Disintegrate, because it'll make your Disintegrate do 20% more damage, which is really, really good. This is not like a hugely critical thing. This is one of the more min-maxing things that you can work on as you work on the Dragonflight Evoker damage. But you basically want to do a Shattering Star just like this. Boom. Into a Disintegrate. You can see the buff on the enemy, or the debuff on the enemy. That's what you want to be doing, okay? Or you can fit in your empowered abilities into the Shattering Star window as well. So cast Shattering Star and then cast your Eternity Surge and your Fire Breath, right? Inside Dragonrage. So let me show you what that looks like really quickly here. So you're going to go Dragonrage into... I'm not even sure you should do this, as to say, but this is just an idea because you want to be casting these things really quickly. But you would go Dragonrage into Shattering Star, into Eternity Surge. Oh, it messed it up. Why does it do that? It's so annoying. Anyway, then you cast your Empower abilities to benefit from the 20% damage amp from Shattering Star. But that's actually probably too complicated. I would just say use Shattering Star before you use Disintegrate. It'll make the Disintegrate 20% stronger, okay, which is very, very good. So, of course, the last thing that we're kind of getting is that burnout thing, right? Fire Breath damage has a chance to make your Living Flame instant, which is really, really nice for single target because Living Flame does way more damage than Azure Strike on single target. That's when you really want to be using it. So, that's the build in a nutshell, guys. It's all about Dragonrage. You press Dragonrage, you press your empowered abilities to extend it. Each time you saw, I extended it twice. That's a total of 12 seconds plus 12 seconds. We got 24 seconds of extension on Dragonrage. Imagine if you were in a Lust window. Imagine if you had a decent amount of haste. I have 14% on the beta. So imagine if you had instead, 30% haste and you had Fury of the Aspects rolling. I mean, you would just be able to spam Azure Strike, and then you would do Disintegrate Channel, Azure Strike, Disintegrate Channel, Azure Strike, It would just, because in Dragonrage, your Azure Strike makes this free. So you just go bouncing back and forth, and it's really, really fast. And you should be able to extend your Dragonrage even longer, potentially. This is kind of what you could potentially do. So, once again, I want to reiterate, this is a level 70 talent tree. Okay, this is on beta right now. This is level 70. I'm at item level like 400. I have a tier set on. There's a bunch of little things going on there. But this is a basic build that you can take into Dragonflight Once you hit, if you hit level 60, you're going to be missing some pieces here, right? Of course. But I just want to make sure that you understand, once you're getting into, like, dungeons and you're doing Mythic Plus, on a Tyrannical week in particular, this is going to be really helpful for you. This rotation on what you need to do will do lots of damage for you. In a raid encounter, it's also very similar. There isn't a whole lot that you can actually change in the Evoker tree to give you more single target damage. It's actually, like, there's not a lot really at all. So this is the basic build that will function very well in AoE and single target. And Drakthir Evoker is kind of like, it's strange that way that you can't change things up, but this is just how it works. So let me show you with Lust one more time really quickly. I'm going to pop Lust here and try my best to do this rotation correctly. So we're going to go Lust into Dragonrage, into here, into here. Okay, here we go. Disintegrates a lot faster. See how much faster it is? A lot faster here. Okay, we're gonna do this. Okay, we got our fire breath back. There we go. Launch it. Now we got an extension on our Dragon's Rage. Once again, their Eternity Surge extended it again. So we're back to 10 seconds on Eternity Surge, and sorry, on Dragon's Breath. And then we're gonna Azure Strike. We'll do our Living Flame because it's instant. One more Living Flame. There we go. Okay, that's your rotation. So you still can only extend it basically a couple times there. But the point is, you're always going to be able to basically get 24 seconds on Dragon Rage. So it's only a 14-second duration. You can always add 24 seconds to that duration because of Animosity. Again, 6 seconds per empowered spell. You can do 4 of them. You can do 2 of them to extend, and then another 2 of them to extend for 24 seconds. So your total Dragon Rage cooldown should basically always be 38 seconds. That's how long this is going to last for, which is really, really cool. It means that you're going to be pressing Essence Burst a lot more. You're going to be able to channel those disintegrates for free. Like, you're not going to have any problems with your resources here. It's just going to be Christmas basically for like 38 full seconds, which is a long time. So that's how it works, guys. This is the talent tree here. I didn't really change anything on the class side. There's probably changes that I could make over here, and we can talk about that later, but I just wanted to focus on the spec side and to show you guys this build and how it kind of works on the single target rotation, and also how you might want to do this on a Tyrannical week in Mythic Plus. Both of those things kind of apply. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you excited to play Drakthir Evoker? Are you going to play this as your main in Dragonflight? What do you guys think about Evoker? The new class, the new spec, the whole deal. Let me know what you think in those comments down below. Thank you so much again for watching, guys. I love you all. I'll see you in the next one.